overall has been, mixed. I mean, it's been, the work that we're doing right now for people to really hear the perspectives of BIPOC folks has been helpful. Of course, as a person of color, we're dealing with microaggressions and other things that happen and occur. So that this work is happening in our district, it's helpful to really bring an understanding around implicit bias, racism, microaggressions.
I've seen something happen in this district since we've begun working with Joe and Shane, since Dr. Kemke really began the organizing work that she's been doing to help bring the racial equity policy into play. I've seen our district begin to make real shifts towards centering anti-racism as a goal and as a necessary stance for our students to all be able to achieve as much as they possibly could achieve.
I feel like the work that we're trying to do in San Mateo, first and foremost, is about truth telling and about reckoning with our history, our collective history, on a national level, but also like locally, how that plays out and what it means to really take responsibility and ownership over systemic racism and oppression in our systems. I think the aspirational side of it is about centering the voices and experiences of students and having that be a powerful lever for change. So allowing people to, as we say, center voices of those at the margins and be changed by it, allowing people to really alter their mindsets, their beliefs, their values, their orientation to everything they do, through truth telling, through reckoning with history and current systems of oppression, and through listening to those who've been silenced.
In the meantime, it's around trying to shift the adult mindset and the adult practice and culture, right, of the people who come together, right? So I definitely see people having different conversations and sharing that they're having different conversations. And ultimately, we want the practices in the classroom and the practices that are student facing to reach marginalized kids who are not being served, right? They're being held back and held down. So that's where we hope to, right? So it is really an aspirational impact. And it ultimately won't matter what we say, it'll matter what the young people tell us, and that'll keep pushing us forward.
That we and I think it's because of the bias of being educators. Like, we spend a lot of time with them every day, kind of engaging with them on the school work, but not really the heart work or the listening work. And I think that the street data approach really pushes us to transform, because it's a personal connection. You can't ignore what a student tells you about their experience. In some ways, you can sort of say, well, that data you showed me about those differentials in outcomes, I didn't do that. That's not really my fault, or I'm not implicated in that in any way. That's somebody else's fault. But in fact, I think the street data, the sort of secret sauce in my view, is the personal listening causes you can't but do something about what you hear from a person's experience.
I think it's very validating and reinforcing, actually, especially coming from the site that we operate from. It gives us more clear process. I feel like having read the book now, it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it's very much in alignment with the culture of care that we build here on site. And so now we have something directly to reference from, and like the whys and the hows. Instead of just doing it within our own teams, right? And so it really helped capture and house and contain.
Well, I think because students, they make up schools, and if your students are breaking down, if they feel like they don't belong, if they feel like they're not welcome, that they don't need to be here, that they hate it here, then that really reflects on not just, it doesn't really reflect more on students and their ability to cope and handle with things, but it reflects more on failure of the system that does not allow students to access the resources and just give them the education, the tools they need to help themselves. We're almost adults here, and if school is setting you up to not be able to take care of yourself, but instead do trigonometry or calculus, then are you really doing your part as a school?
I mean, I think I want to keep it really real. It's not easy. And it's really, I mean, I'm seeing anger and I'm seeing fragility and I'm seeing confusion. And those are also things that I'm feeling too, right? I feel angry and I feel confused and I feel at times fragile.
People are talking about empathy interviews with students, and we are talking about slowing ourselves down to listen to what the experiences are of our students are in the classrooms. We also are getting more comfortable as a system, across the system, to being, using words like white supremacy culture, anti-racist, white fragility, all of those things have become more commonplace for us to use. And then honestly, as a system that is made up of a lot of white teachers and staff, we are getting more comfortable talking about racism, and we're not shying away from it. We are actually saying, like, we know this is an issue and we're going to talk about it.